Hi everybody, this is Tim Bost with FinancialCyclesWeekly.com, and today we need to take a look at President Barack Obama. There's a time coming up of breakdown or breakthrough, and we need to understand that as we move ahead into the coming weeks. We are facing some planetary events right now that can have a big impact on the political situation in the U.S. and abroad, a big impact on geopolitical affairs throughout the world, on economic developments, on the global balance of power, and trends in the stock market, the commodities markets as well. And so we need to pay particular attention to these dynamics that are unfolding right now. They involve President Barack Obama, and the big question as he goes through the presidential campaign leading up to the elections on November 6, 2012, what's going on with Obama? Is he going to be able to regain re-election or not in his contest with Mitt Romney? Now, what's happening right now, I think it's important to understand, is not just political. It's personal as well. And we get some remarkable insights if we take a look at what is happening with Barack Obama's natal horoscope, which is what we want to share today. Here is the natal chart for Barack Obama, and what we're focusing on with this chart is one specific planetary position over here. This is the planet Chiron. Actually, Chiron is a comet. It's one of the Centaur objects in the solar system, and it has a very, very profound effect in the natal chart. It is of particular importance to Barack Obama in general, with his chart configuration, and right now specifically as well. Now, Chiron is associated with some difficult situations and big problems. How they manifest depends on the individual and the placement in the individual horoscope. But in general, whenever we look at Chiron, we're facing circumstances that are inconvenient at best, very, very problematical at worst. There are things that we would rather not have to deal with at all. We prefer to ignore, but they won't go away. We're going to have to contend with them whether we like it or not. Because that's the case, sometimes it's associated with psychological wounds or interior difficulties, sometimes physical wounds as well. But above all, Chiron has one unique characteristic that we want to pay attention to. It is associated with major challenges, yes, but these major challenges can present unexpected opportunities. Chiron brings us the kinds of circumstances that are very, very difficult for us to deal with, but when we roll up our sleeves, pay attention to what's going on, and try to resolve the problematical circumstances that Chiron confronts us with, then we typically get major opportunities in our lives. New doorways open up. The experience becomes the key to a transformative revelation in our lives. And it usually has nothing at all to do with what we think is going on. Sometimes it involves closing certain doors so that bigger opportunities open up for us. So it's a very, very unusual dynamic in anybody's natal horoscope, but for Barack Obama, it's a particular concern right now. Now, what we've done here is taken Barack Obama's natal chart, that is the inner circle that we just looked at a moment ago, and around it we have put the positions of the planets for Election Day. This is set for noon at Washington, D.C. on Election Day, and we're looking at the comparative positions of the planets at the time of Election Day 2012 with the natal horoscope for President Barack Obama. Now, what we see here is an alignment, again, with Chiron in the sky at the time of the election, with Chiron in the president's natal horoscope. This is important to pay attention to. We call this event a Chiron return, and it's about a 50-year cycle. In other words, we typically only get one of these in our lifetime that we have to deal with. At about age 50, 51, we will get the passage of transiting Chiron over its natal position. And this is a time of extraordinary stress for us as individuals. It brings to the forefront all of the kinds of Chiron dynamics that we just mentioned, the problematical circumstances as well as the opportunities that can go with those. Now, this alignment, because Chiron by transit goes into retrograde motion, actually happens 3 times for President Barack Obama. It took place, first of all, on February 26, 2012, as Chiron transited fairly rapidly over his natal Chiron position. It happens again October 19th, 2012, and then the third and final time on December 10th, 2012. Now, even though we have these 3 exact alignments, it's important as we look at the position of transiting Chiron to see the distinction here. On the left side here we have that quick passage. The horizontal dotted red line is the natal position of Chiron. The curving red line here is transiting Chiron. We can see that in late February this was an impact that lasted about a week in duration, a fairly stressful time for the president, but fairly short-lived. There's a different situation when we look at the period from October through December, however. We have the exact alignment on October 19th and again on December 10th, but what is really going on here is that we have the entire period with the transiting Chiron in very close alignment with his natal Chiron. And so we get virtually a 3-month period here that we can talk about as the entire phase of the president's Chiron return. This is a very, very stressful period of time for him. So we can say then that between October and December in 2012, we have a time of major, major stress for Barack Obama. It's something that we need to pay particular attention to. Why? Because we get all of these Chiron factors coming to the forefront for him personally in terms of the big problems to confront, the circumstances that he would rather not have to deal with, he would rather just ignore completely and hope they go away, the major challenges that can in fact become unexpected opportunities for this man who is the President of the United States. And because this is the case, Barack Obama's Chiron return not only can have a big impact on the political situation and on the outcome of the U.S. election, but also on geopolitical affairs on a global scale, on economic developments, certainly, on the global balance of power, and on the trends in the markets that we can take advantage of, not only during the time of the election, but in the months that immediately follow as well. So we're going to be paying particular attention then to this period from October through December of 2012 as Barack Obama goes through his Chiron return to see what kind of impact it has. The real question here for him personally and for all of us is, will this be a time of breakdown or breakthrough? Chiron offers us those 2 big opportunities at the time of a Chiron return. We can either break down completely and have our old ways of doing things dissolve totally, or it can be a time of breaking through to new ways of doing things that give us better results in our lives. And of course, with this individual, we're very, very concerned about the outcome. How will it work out? Well, we'll have to wait and see. That's largely up to Barack Obama. The Chiron return is happening whether he wants it to or not. We'll have to see whether this becomes a time of breakdown or breakthrough for Barack Obama. This is Tim Bost with FinancialCyclesWeekly.com. Thanks so much for watching.